Hey everybody, this is GGB co-host Poppers, and I don't know if you know this, not many people did know this, but on Thursday and Saturday, I actually went to the New Orleans Saints training camp. So I thought I went to the training camp, I saw all these players play, why not make a little analysis video, and I decided I'm going to do who's going to make the 53-man roster coming up. So let's start with the quarterbacks. I think everyone in their mom, anyone who knows anything about the Saints knows who the top three quarterbacks are going to be. It's going to be Jameis Winston, Taysom Hill, and Ian Book. There's a reason why they drafted Ian Book in the 4th round. I don't think he's going to start this year. I don't think he might never start, but he definitely is going to make the team this year. And if you watch him play, he actually surprised me in camp. He looked good. He definitely is a better quarterback than Trevor Siemian. On the other hand, I was a little bit disappointed by the quarterback play on Saturday. Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill both made me a little bit disappointed. On Thursday, they both looked really good. So, who knows? I think it's a neck-and-neck kind of thing, and we're definitely going to see throughout the preseason. Everyone thinks Jameis Winston's going to be it, but if they decide to go with a kind of kinky offense, they could go Taysom Hill and try to run the Ravens kind of offense. Running back, I'm not going to go too out on a limb here. Alvin Kamara is obviously going to be running back 1. He is the best player on the field at any given time. He's legitimately amazing. I watched him in camp. He is even better live. He's so good. Latavius Murray, also really good. He's a really good interior running back. We saw that last year. I think the number 3 option for me, Devonta Freeman. They signed Devonta Freeman in free agency for a reason. You can use him more as a passing back. He's really excelled in camp. He's looked good. This number 4 spot's really tough for me. I really love what Tony Jones Jr. was doing in camp. I really do love Tony Jones Jr. But it's the fact Dwayne Washington has been there longer. He provides more on special teams. I think he stays on the team as the number 4 running back. Now, Saints almost always have a fullback on the team, and that's, I believe, Alex Arma's role. We have 2 fullbacks, technically speaking, on the roster now. But I'm going to be honest, Alex Arma was one of our 3 free agency pickups. I find it unlikely he doesn't make the team. Give me Alex Arma to make the team, actually make a serious impact. A wide receiver, it's a little bit interesting. If you guys don't know, Michael Thomas is out, which for 6 weeks he'll be not counting against the roster. And Deontay Harris, I bet he'll have a suspension in the next couple of weeks. So expect one of the 2 wide receivers at the bottom of my list to fall out, and both of them fall out once Michael Thomas and Deontay Harris is back. But Deontay Harris, if he has a suspension, here is the 6-man roster, I believe, for the games that we don't have Deontay Harris and Michael Thomas. I believe Tre'Quan Smith will be our number 1 wide receiver, although his injury is making me a little bit worried. We haven't seen him yet since he's had that injury. Marquez Callaway looked like the best wide receiver on the field at any given time. Yet, again, Tre'Quan Smith wasn't at training camp, so I don't know. But Marquez Callaway looks like a legitimate great receiver, and I think he's going to turn out to be a great player for us. Chris Hogan is a guy we picked up a couple of weeks ago. He's going to kind of fill the same Michael Thomas-esque role. He's not going to do much after the catch, but imagine his hands are like magnets. They very rarely drops balls. Chris Hogan's, I think, is going to make this roster. Ty Montgomery is another player I think makes the roster that I've seen some people disagree with. Ty Montgomery he's a good wide receiver, and he's a good running back. He provides a lot of versatility. He's a very fast player. And with no Deontay Harris throughout the first couple of games, I feel like he's a necessary player. Now, I feel like the top 4 they're logical. The last 2, I could see an argument made for Jalen McCleskey making it here. I don't have him making it. I have Lil Jordan Humphrey as my number 5 wide receiver. I'm a lot higher on Lil Jordan Humphrey than a lot of Saints fans are. I love the guy. He's spent 2 years on our practice squad now. I feel like he should finally get a role on our roster, and I really feel like he is ready to contribute. And I think our 7th round draft pick, Kawan Baker, will make that roster. Well, expect both of those guys to fall off once Michael Thomas and Deontay Harris get back, but there could be an injury to Ty Montgomery or Chris Hogan. So just keep in mind that I feel like those are the guys that will fall off and on the roster. Well, how the season goes on. Tight end, I think this one's pretty obvious. Adam Troutman's a guy a lot of Saints fans are expecting to really take a step up. He was a 3rd round draft pick, and he was the number 3 option last year, and he looked really good as the number 3 option. Number 2, tight end 2 is going to be Nick Vannett. I feel like those two are obvious, and it was obvious way before. As soon as Nick Vannett was signed, again, one of only 3 free agent pickups, and he's a good blocking tight end. He provides a lot for this team at blocking, and this is what we need after Josh Hill has retired. And I think Juwan Johnson makes it tight end 3. I feel like that's not that controversial of a statement, especially with Dylan Sainer going down with an injury. That means and Ethan Wolf is going to be gone for at least a week, which means he's going to lose ground at the tight end spot. It really only leaves Garrett Griffin and Juwan Johnson, if we're going to be honest. And let's be honest, Garrett Griffin is not going to make the roster. He's a replaceable level tight end, and he'll probably make the practice squad. Don't see him making it at tight end 3. It's going to be Juwan Johnson 100%. Ryan Ramczyk, on the other hand, I think our starting offensive line is really, really basic. It's a lot of people understand it's going to be one of the better offensive lines, but everyone knows it's going to be Ryan Ramczyk, Andrews Pete, Eric McCoy, Cesar Ruiz, Terron Armstead. I've heard great things about Cesar Ruiz in camp. I saw them. He looks really good. Ryan Ramczyk looks really great again. Terron Armstead looks good. Eric McCoy rarely gets beat on the inside. I believe the weakness in our line is Andrews Pete, but he's still a very solid player. I love our offensive line, and it's the position I feel most comfortable in. Now, normally you keep 8 or 9 players. Since the Saints keep a fullback and 4 running backs, we only keep 8 typically. So we keep James Hurst. James Hurst is an obvious lock for this roster. He's kind of switches in and out, but he's a kind of a jumbo package. If we need an extra offensive lineman, he comes in. If an offensive tackle or offensive guard gets hurt, he comes in. He's the offensive lineman they love the most as their 6th offensive lineman. Now, we drafted Landon Young in the 6th round. So, again, pretty obvious lock. They really like keeping their rookies on their team, especially if they drafted them. Landon Young's probably a lock, especially since they want to keep an offensive tackle, just period. And he is arguably the best backup offensive tackle on this team. And then there's an argument to me, you can really keep any offensive lineman but I would prefer a center or a guard, and that's why I'm going to go with Will Clapp. Will Clapp has been on and off the roster a couple of years now, but Will Clapp is a guy we got in the 7th round. He looks extremely solid. He's a good backup. Now that's 25. I like to break it up 25 and 25 and then 3 for special teams. So that's 25 on the offensive side of things. Now going on the defensive side of things, I think we keep, last year we had 5 defensive tackles and 4 defensive ends. I think this year we keep 5 defensive ends and 4 defensive tackles, and let me explain that to you. It just makes sense because, number one, you have Cam Jordan. Cam Jordan's obviously going to be a beast, and he's maybe a future Hall of Famer, so you don't let him slip off your roster, obviously. You have Marcus Davenport and Peyton Turner, who are both, obviously, Marcus Davenport, they picked up their 5th-year option. They're pretty invested in him. He's going to stay on the team. And then Peyton Turner, you just drafted in the 1st round this year. Find it unlikely he doesn't make the team. Now, Tano Campasino is, one of your only 3 free agent pickups. Obviously, you liked him enough to go out there and pay him a good amount of money in free agency. Normally, you guys don't let that guy slip, unless you really don't like him. And he's looked good in training camp, at least in my opinion. And he can bounce inside, too. It adds versatility. He's a versatile player. He rushed inside with the Chiefs a lot. So, again, Tano kind of serves both defensive end and defensive tackle, which is why I feel like he is a lock to make this roster. And then Carl Granderson was the guy that I've had on and off the roster. I think he's a really solid talent, and he looked really good last year. But I was like, they're going to keep 5 defensive tackles. But then I realized that if you consider Tano a defensive end / defensive tackle, then you can keep Carl Granderson on the roster, and that's what I'm going to do. Defensive tackle, if you don't know, David Onyemata is suspended, and he's one of our better defensive tackles, which is why I'm I was a little bit worried about this position. I'll talk about it a little bit later when we get to the last 2 on the roster. Shai Tuttle is a player I didn't have a lot of questions about. I knew he was a very solid player. Again, he was our 4th defensive tackle last year, but that team had Sheldon Rankins and Malcolm Brown as a nose tackle. Malcolm Brown's one of the better nose tackles in this league. A very good run stopper. And Sheldon Rankins is a very good defensive tackle as well. And then you had David Onyemata. David Onyemata is a guy I love. Shai Tuttle is a guy I have a lot of faith in. And then you have Malcolm Roach, another guy I think looks really good. He definitely was winning some of the matchups against our offensive line, which is definitely a good thing. If you're beating the Saints offensive line, I feel like you can beat most of the offensive lines in this league. I really love what Malcolm Roach brings to this team. And then after that, I was a little bit worried before I went to Cape, but Jalen Dalton and Christian Ringo, 2 guys that I didn't know a lot about before heading into camp. Jalen Dalton, is a guy that was on and off our roster a little bit last year. Didn't see much playing time. Christian Ringo saw no playing time. But Jalen Dalton looked really good. He looked improved from last year. And Christian Ringo kind of went off. He went off on Saturday. He had a sack. I think he had a couple of run stuffs. He even had an interception when he dropped back into coverage. So, again, I love both these players. And I think if we break down this roster, I think our defensive line is going to be insanely good. Now, linebacker, I feel like the first four are locks. Most people know. Demario Davis, he's a Pro Bowler. He's one of the best linebackers in the league right now. He's an obvious lock for this roster. And then you have Quan Alexander, who we signed. Most Saints fans love Quan Alexander, not only because he's from LSU, but also because he brought a lot of excitement last year. He was really, really good in coverage, and he was a good run stopper. I loved Quan Alexander. I don't know how else I can say about it. He provides such excitement with Demario Davis. He provides such excitement in the locker room. He's a great, great player. And then we have the rookie Pete Werner. I think he's looked good in camp. Again, I'd like to see him a little bit, but what I love about the Saints is they give normally their rookies a year of just learning a little bit and being on the field a little bit. So I feel like Pete Werner shouldn't see the field too much this year and just learn behind Demario Davis and Quan Alexander. Zach Bond is a player I loved in training camp. If you watch him for just a little bit, you'll notice how smart the guy is. He can drop into coverage. He's a rather good player in coverage, considering he mostly rushed the passer in college. And then you watch him stop the run, and he's extremely smart in that regard. He does a great job at getting to the line of scrimmage and tackling the runner. He almost had a pick on Thursday. It just bounced off his hands, and I think if he gets a little bit better hands, we could have a very good player in Zach Bond. And for heavy packages, we can bring Zach Bond on the field. I think the last two, there's an argument to be made of her. So there's about three players trying to get on the edge of that roster at the 6th man, and I think Caden Ellis, Chase Hansen, and Andrew Dowell. Now, personally, I've seen some people put Andrew Dowell on the list. Personally, I'm going to go with Caden Ellis and Chase Hansen. Caden Ellis, if you didn't know, is a 7th-round draft pick for us out of Idaho. I believe the 2019 draft class where we got it Chauncey and Eric McCoy as well. Caden Ellis has looked like a backup in this league, sure. But he's also extremely good backup. I really love what Caden Ellis has done for us. And I think Chase Hansen, in my opinion, is a player I'm really kind of excited about to see if he comes into something more. I understand it's been a couple years in this league, but Chase Hansen is a converted safety to linebacker, which means he has speed and he has coverage ability. There was this play on Saturday. I understand you guys weren't there, and I don't think I had the film of it, but Chase Hansen was rushing the passer, and he just absolutely pushed T.D. Scott into the ground. He ran straight through him. It was a play that I was a lot excited about. I think if he makes some big time plays in the preseason, he's definitely a player on this roster, and he's made plays on special teams, and I think that's a lot of things people forget. Caden Ellis and Chase Hansen have both been on special teams and have done good jobs while they've been here. So I think they're going to make the roster. So the way I broke down the final 10 defensive spots, 5 corners, 5 safeties. I feel like that's a reasonable thing to expect. Marshawn Lattimore. So Marshawn Lattimore might be suspended. The longer it goes on, the longer I think he's not going to be suspended for the season. If he is suspended, I think Grant Haley will make the roster for a little bit. I think Grant Haley will come in and he will serve that kind of role as a 5th corner. But personally, I have Marshawn Lattimore. Marshawn Lattimore is a great corner, and you could tell just watching the practice, he is leaps and bounds ahead of everyone else we have. I think we might still go out and get another corner, but as the roster sits now, I'm going to go with Prince Amukamara as our number 2 corner. I legitimately do believe he is the second best corner on the roster. I've seen him in practice. I think he's the second best corner on this roster. I saw some people put Ken Crawley, and I'm telling you, if Ken Crawley is on this roster, I will be so furious with my Saints. He freaking sucks. I hate him so much. I think P-Rob is a good number 3 corner to have. You can bring him in to play some outside, bring him in to play some nickel. He's not a lockdown corner. He's definitely not a number 2 corner in this league, but he's a good depth player for this team. Now, I think Brian Poole is a player a lot of people forget about, but I think he was one of my favorite pickups that we've had since the beginning of training camp, kind of. I love Chris Hogan's pickup as well, but Brian Poole is a phenomenal nickelback, and I think it provides some depth behind Chauncey. And honestly, what I loved about our team last year is we had a lot of depth, so we could just cycle in and out of players. So if Chauncey starts to get tired, I'd love to see some Brian Poole action on the team. And then obviously the 3rd-round rookie, Paulson Adebo. Paulson Adebo is a very tall corner, and he looked really good in camp. But I don't think he's ready to start yet or even see significant playing time. He's like number 4, number 5 corner on my team. But those are my 5 corners. Then we have our safeties. The first 3 are pretty obvious. You have Marcus Williams, who's a phenomenal safety, who, if he doesn't get the deal from the Saints after this year, someone else is going to pay him. Malcolm Jenkins, the veteran, very good. He really is a very good corner. And then Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is a great player. He's a really young, prospering talent in this league. Plus, he gets in those people's heads. He's one of my favorite players. I love screaming the name Chauncey. Now, the final 2, I feel like they weren't that difficult, but I feel like a lot of people who aren't Saints fans might not know these names. P.J. Williams is a guy that switched from corner to safety. He was our number 3 corner when Eli Apple was on the team. And he really wasn't good at corner, but ever since he switched to safety/defensive back, he's played very good and like being a versatile kind of player. I really do like P.J. Williams. Plus, he's played well on special teams in the past couple of years. J.T. Gray is my number 5 safety, not because I love him as a safety. Honestly, I think Eric Burrell is a better safety than him, but J.T. Gray is one of our better special teamers. He's a great gunner, and I feel like that's what a lot of people overlook is you don't have to really contribute on defense, especially as the number 5 safety. It's really your special teams acumen, and that's what J.T. Gray has that I believe will beat out Eric Burrell for that role. Now, the 3 special teamers, I'm going to go with kicker last because I really would like to, it's going to be interesting. So, punter is going to be Blake Gillikin. I feel like I'm pretty confident in that. There is a punter battle going on technically with Nolan Cooney, but Blake Gillikin looked like the better punter from Thursday. Saturday, he had a little bit of a rough day, but he still had some amazing punts, and he was taking all of the reps when they were doing the long snap with the guy trying to rush and block the punt. So, yeah, I think it's basically all over. I think Gillikin is going to be the starting punter come the regular season. Zach Wood is, again, our only long snapper on our roster, and he's been a very good one for us in recent years. Zach Wood is a guy not many people know. Many people don't know they're long snappers unless it's their team. I know Zach Wood. Zach Wood's a very solid long snapper. He's a very good long snapper. He's going to be on our team. So the kicker situation is getting interesting because everyone knows Will Lutz is a really solid kicker. Everyone remembers that because it's it's Will Lutz. Will Lutz is top 5 kicker in the NFL, definitely. He had a little bit of a rough year last year, but still, top 5 kicker, 100%. The problem is we just got news that Will Lutz will likely be out for 8 weeks. 8 freaking weeks, which means it's going to be like 4 weeks without Will Lutz at kicker. So, what are our options? It's interesting. I feel like we got to let we get a replacement kicker in the meantime before we let one of them to slip into free agency. But Matthew McCrane is an option. I saw him in free agency. Steven Gostkowski, if he wants to come out of retirement, I'd love to have him. But the main things I learned while watching training camp is everyone is way underselling the wide receivers on this team and the defensive tackles for this team. Because everyone was talking about the insane, bad wide receiver depth, but I love Marquez Callaway for what I saw. I love Chris Hogan from what I saw. Little Jordan Humphrey is a legitimately great receiver. I think we have some serious wide receiver depth, and I know you were just saying, but GGB, that was going against freaking our corners, which is god-awful, and Prince Amukamara and Patrick Robinson and Paulson Adebo. Yeah, but he was also doing the same thing against players like Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and Malcolm Jenkins. So, I mean, I don't feel like it's just because our corners are bad, because we all know that Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is a really good man-on-man coverer. So I feel like these wide receivers are really good. Defensive tackles, another position I think are Jalen Dalton and Christian Ringo and Chai Tuttle and Malcolm Roach are being completely undersold by the large media. I think that's a position that definitely is really good this year. Positions I think that are going to struggle. I think quarterback is going to be a position that struggles. I'm sorry to say it. Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill looked far from perfect. Now they still have a lot of time to improve. And if they run a different offense than a normal offense with Taysom Hill, then it could be a really good offense this year. But I don't know. I feel like I'm having trouble believing that if we're just slinging the ball around every play, that it's going to be a good offensive production. And I think corner is another significant position of worry. Behind Marshawn Lattimore, there really is no number 2 option. I'm a lot higher on Prince Amukamara than a lot of people are, but still, got to get another one in free agency, in my opinion. But everybody, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is GGB, Coach Pepper saying adios, amigos.